Okay, so I want to show you the next 3 steps in making the cuff bracelet. After it's all been sawed, filed, corners filed, paper pattern peeled off, ready to move on to the next 3 steps. The first step is called annealing. That's where we use the torch. We heat the metal, and heating the metal softens it. You have to soften it before you can start hammering it and forming it, so you don't get any cracks in the hammering. It makes it more malleable and makes it all happen really smoothly. So we're going to be using a torch called an acetylene torch. Turn it on, hear a little hiss. Light with your striker. Heat your metal. As you heat the metal, it darkens. Different metals turn different colors. Your silver will turn kind of a charcoal gray. Your copper and your bronze will get like a dark brown. You get a pretty cool effect with the oils on your skin that leave a deposit. It's kind of like when you see an oil slick in a parking lot. You get those sort of rainbow colors. Looks pretty cool. And then it all turns a very dark brownish grayish color. And that's how you know it's up to temperature to be annealed. So I'm going to turn off my flame. Torch tip is still hot, so I want to make sure I'm resting it on a fireproof surface. Fire brick I've got right here. Our annealing pan is full of little pumice stones. They help hold the heat in. So this metal is very hot. So I have a bucket of water right here. Pick it up with my tweezers. Quench it in the water. Wow, that was a hot piece of metal. And it's got this interesting look to it now. I dry it off. I can already feel that it's softer. It wants to bend now. And then the next step. Okay, so that was the first step, annealing the metal. Second step is going to be forming the metal. So what I want to do is bring it over here. I've got a vise set up. We've created a little outdoor workshop here. So I've got a vise, and we hammer the metal around what's called a bracelet mandrel. Made out of wood. It's supposed to be like a forearm, but made out of wood that you shape your metal around. So I need to open up my vise, place the mandrel all the way in there so it's nice and secure. This is why we have those vices one of the reasons we have those vices in the art room at school is for when we need to form our metal. Okay, so it's in there. So what I want to do, I want to go from a flat piece of metal like this to a cuff bracelet that has that C shape to it, like a letter C. So I need my ends to curl in and leave a little gap in the middle. Okay, so I hold it at an angle, use my rawhide mallet, and I start hammering the end down. Ooh, that's nice soft metal. You can see I get a little curl, inch it up a little bit, hammer across, and go back over what I already hammered. Curl gets a little tighter. Do it again, inch it up a little more. Hammer, hammer, hammer. Curl around back to where we started from. Curl gets a little tighter still. So what I would do is keep doing that to about the midway point. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. So it kind of looks like this, right? So curved in at each side, and then back and forth till you finally get that C shape that we're going for. Okay, first step was annealing. Second step, forming. Once the forming is done, then you move on to sanding. Sanding is the first step of the polishing process. So the sanding happens, over here we go back to our bench pin, just like you used for your sawing. And let's just pretend that this one's already all formed. I just want to show you the sanding. So the torch creates a dirty surface on the metal, and you're going to remove that surface. And the way you do it, first step, sanding. So you sand in one direction. The direction that you sand in matters. You sand going across your bracelet, back and forth, back and forth. I know I'm just pretending right now, because when you polish, polishing goes along the long length of the bracelet. So you want the polishing and the sanding to happen in opposite directions. The sanding will leave a very fine texture. We use ultra fine sandpaper on metal, and we use good pressure. Let me go back and forth on our metal while it's supported on the bench pin, because that way you're getting better pressure on it. You don't just hold it in your hand. It would take forever. So I only just started. You can see it's already starting to clean up. The sanding takes a while, but besides getting your surface back to the color it's supposed to be, it also really smooths out the edges around all of the shapes that you would have cut out. Okay, so that's annealing, forming, sanding. And then the final step, which I can't show you here because the big buffer machine is at school, is the polishing. So if you get the chance to come into school, if we're allowed to over the summer, or maybe after school next year, I could meet up with you and we could get your cuff bracelets finished. That would be great. You worked really hard on them. You should be very proud of all the work you were able to accomplish, and it'd be nice to bring closure to that project. All right. Thank you.